Doing well, mate. Yeah. It's been pretty busy to be honest with you. So I started a new job, moved house. So that's why I look like I'm in my nana's house at the minute. Like it needs a bit of decorating.
Mate, where have you moved to?
Moved up to Ducky.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so not far from where we used to live, but it was just to get the little girl into a school nearby, and we're near my mum and
Nice.
dad as well. So it's ideal.
Classmate. Oh, mate, that's nice. Were you at the other place for long?
Yeah, I was there
Were you the
5 years. Yeah, 5 years
Oh,
at the
wow.
this year.
What's
So
the new job?
It's
What's the new
still
job?
working for the electricity board, but it's just
Yeah.
retraining. But it's a bit of a mind bender to be honest with you because you're just working with like these circuits and stuff like that. You could like make a mistake and you turn in like pied off, and it's
Jesus, mate.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw your Instagram story the other day, and you were like in the middle of nowhere, but then there's like generators everywhere on one
Yeah.
side.
Well, they're mad. They're like 132,000 volts going through them. So you
Flip that.
literally press one of them and you turn like Stockport off, and it's just
You
like.
don't, you don't want to mess about with that, mate. You don't want to mess about with that.
I know, but it's. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's a bit overwhelming at first, but it's like anything new, isn't it? But I always think it's good
Oh, mate.
to be doing something what keeps you busy, really, and keeps your brain ticking over.
Oh, mate, that's what you have to do new stuff, don't you? Because
Yeah,
otherwise, it's just, mate, you just end up switching off a little bit, and you can also get a bit comfortable as well. I think you've always got to try something a bit
you've
new,
always
and
got to be
then
a bit more comfortable. Yeah, you're right, totally
yeah.
right.
I was training and going since we last spoke. What's it been now? When did we stop? A couple months ago.
Yeah, I think it was around May time, wasn't it, or something like that? We came to the end, but yeah, it's been going well. Like, still consistently weight training 3 times a week, and
Yeah,
then I am doing a little bit of walking at the night time. I mean, not as much as I was before, but it's just nice.
yeah.
You know,
But it's more maintained. When
yeah,
you've got that goal like we had, this is more. This is what we always say to people, don't want. So you don't have to go full throttle all the time, like doing 15K steps a day. You can now maintain where you're at because
yeah,
it's more achievable.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm sort of hitting probably like 9,000, 10,000 a day. Excuse me, 10,000 steps a day, which is a good number. Whereas before, it was probably like you saying doing 15,000 plus because I was going to the gym in the morning on the
Yeah,
treadmill, getting the steps in there. But we're at a nice point now where you have got a good sort of gym and outside life balance where
yeah,
you can enjoy a meal and not feel bad about it, and that just comes with doing the time with you.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think personally.
Yeah, and it's very manageable. That 9,000 steps a day, like from what you were doing. Excuse me, it was you were doing like what? Well, if you do 15,000, it's an extra 60 minutes of walking a day, isn't it? From
Yeah.
9,000, like that's so. You were a man on a mission, though. You were like every day on
Oh
the
yeah, I
treadmill.
was gonna say, mate, I was pretty determined. I can't lie. I think
Yeah,
that's something. Once I'd signed up with you, I was like, I need to get my money's worth out of this. Like, and
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
that's what it's all about, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
and you
100%.
want as well. To be fair, you want someone to sign up with you, and you don't want to be going up
You
to them
go
every
for it.
week. Are you getting on? Oh well, I haven't really done anything this week because you're not
No,
going to
definitely.
get results from that, and you want to see people getting results as well. To be fair,
Oh, mate, 100%. It benefits both of us. Like it's a two-way street, isn't it? Like, and then
yeah,
like I'm putting the effort in, like checking in, doing the plan. You're putting the effort in. I mean, you were doing walking in the morning. I mean, you only train 3 times a week. I think this is what people don't get as well is you train 3 times a week, but the main thing that you did more than I think most people do is extra walking all the
yeah.
time. You were just
I
on
mean,
the
I
on
think
the
there's a bit of a misconception. I think like people think that you've got to do a lot of cardio to lose weight. And I'll be honest, before, I started with you, I thought I needed to be jogging or running or doing things
treadmill.
like HIIT or things like that. And HIIT's great and everything. And when I have done it in the past, I've enjoyed it. But the issue is then you're spending 2 or 3 days trying to recover because,
Yeah, exactly.
everything's aching, everything's hurting. Whereas walking, we can all do it. We can fit
Definitely.
it. And I think the problem is we think we haven't got time to do it, but we have. You can always find a bit of time, like you say, like on dinners, you can 15, 20 minutes, just a couple of walks around a park or around a car park even. Just get them
Yeah,
steps
yeah.
on. And it's the most basic cardio you can do, and it makes such a huge difference.
Oh mate, well, I mean, you lost what 16 kg, and it wasn't like you were doing loads of extra, like you said, no loads of extra runs. You literally did 3 sessions a week and walked, and that
Yeah,
was it. There was no extra. When you like that is cardio. Don't get me wrong, but when people think cardio, they think hit training, and hit training is fun.
yeah.
I think people think I hate running. I don't hate running. If you like running, there's just more effective ways to lose weight. If you want to run, then that's great, but you've then got to recover from the run, and then
Yeah.
you've got to do all that. Where there's no recovering from walking. Walking is the recovery. That's why
Well,
it's just
that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Like you say, there isn't a long recovery time then, so in the long run you would, pardon the pun, if in the long run you're gonna get like you're gonna get more steps in, you're gonna get more benefits out of it, you're gonna burn more calories.
yeah, exactly. And then you've got more energy to do the fun stuff like weight training.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you do? Like, so obviously when we first started, you were sorry, my dog's gonna bark. Postman's probably here. So if you when we first started, what had you done before that you maybe thought like what was your what was your perception of joining up with me and what you thought you were going to have to do compared to what you did?
Well, I think the sort of the breaking point for me was where I thought I need to do something now. Is that a few years ago I used to go to the gym, but I really had no structure to it. You know, I thought you could just go online, find a plan online from somewhere like whatever website, and think if I just follow that loosely, I'll be all right. But it never worked. I hit a point where I hit like 95 kilos at my heaviest, and I'm not a really tall guy or anything like that, but I was just like, it's too much now. This is too much. And
Yeah, yeah,
again, I think I found you obviously on social media, and I saw what you were doing, and the way you did it was, I think we've spoken in the past, and I think the fitness industry and a lot of people in it make it really complicated. So people sign up to
yeah.
their way of thinking and think, oh well, we've got to do it that way. But
I
you sort
can't
of
do it any other.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Whereas you broke
yeah,
it
yeah.
down into simplified steps of, just weight train, track your food, walk. And I thought, well, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. And then that's when I signed up to you. But before, I was not really a lot, not enough to sort of keep eating what I was eating. And,
Yeah.
that's why the weight it was.
Yeah, and then when we started, you got down to 74. I think I
Yes.
said 16 kg before, but I think we were heavier, weren't we? What was it? It was 18 kg, wasn't it? We did 93 when we first
PKG.
started.
Understand. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that was at my heaviest, to be fair. But I think when I started with you, I was around 92, 92 and a half, and I got down to 74 dead.
that's me. And I mean, you looked mint like, and I remember seeing that spa picture, and I was like, "Go on, he's having, he's milking it. I love it. That's what it's all
Oh
about, though. Feeling
yeah, you see people online and they're like, "Oh, look at them with a top off." I was like, "Mate, I was just walking around with top off all the time. I couldn't believe it. Like,
yeah,
I just looked at the photos and I just couldn't believe that, like, we got there. Like, I've like that's me now. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, and that's not just always the end goal. It's just it was more things like clothes fit me better. I looked
Yeah.
better in clothes, like the amount of times we started a joke, didn't we? Like, mate, I'm gonna start charging you for like these clothes that I'm keep buying now because I've had to
Invoice.
I've had to throw
Yeah,
away and give so many clothes away that are like clothes that I like, but like I look ridiculous in them now because they're just hanging off me. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's just feeling confident as well. That's what it's about, just feeling
I,
better in yourself.
I think people, and like you said, I think people demonize a lot of like looking good and like obviously it's about feeling good, energy, health, all that sort of stuff. But mate, you're allowed to, like, if you put in all the hard work, why not feel confident in yourself and want a good physique? Like, it's not a problem to want to look good. Like, and
No,
like, because no matter what, if everyone's being truthful, they all want to look better. Like when you lose weight and stuff. So,
yeah,
and then a lot of people don't think they can get to that point without doing something absolutely crazy. But when you look at yours, it was just the most simple. I use
yeah,
you as like a bit of a, like, look what like he did 3 days a week. When people say to me, I want to train 6 days a week, I want to do, you can't recover from it. If you aren't a athlete and you aren't saunaing every day, ice bathing, sleeping 8 hours, you're not going to be able to recover from
no.
6 days a week training and a run and a walk. Whereas you did it around work, you still had your like weekends, you still so how did you balance, like, for anyone that was struggling, how did you balance doing the weekends and living pretty normal life with still losing the weight?
I found it in the past, like before I obviously started with you, is that like say if I was going to go on a night out, or like say I was going to go out for a nice meal where you'd have 3 courses because it is the weekend and you want to treat yourself. I
Of course.
my issue was that I'd still have a normal breakfast and like a
Yeah.
full breakfast, whereas you know, where you'd be having like, I don't know, like toast, sausage, you know, like a full English almost on a weekend. Then you'd have your dinner, and then which was a huge portion. Then you'd go out for your meal and have three
Yeah,
courses. So, you know, but you don't need that. You know, people think, oh, you're gonna starve. Like you're not. You're not gonna starve. You know, if you just have, you know, like a smaller breakfast and just keep your
yeah,
protein. If you keep your protein high but your calories a bit lower, and you know,
yeah,
just stick with fruit in the day and stuff like that, then you can really enjoy that meal. Then that's what I
yeah,
found.
yeah.
Still be within a reasonable, you know, calorie target, and that's the one thing that I found for me that was really helpful was tracking calories. And I think people think it becomes a bit of an addiction, but it's not. It's healthy.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I agree because I always say to people like people demonize doing tracking calories as well, but you can't become intuitive about your eating and you can't know what's in food without
Yeah,
actually doing the time tracking. You probably learn more in the 5 months we did together about food than you've ever learned in
yeah,
the previous however many years because you tracked for that. Like you were militant with like you did it every day. I think even when you like we'd have a little chats like, oh mate, I'm going out this weekend, so don't be surprised if the weight jumps up. You allowed because people put a lot of emphasis on the scale weight, but because you tracked the food and you knew, well, I'm having this many carbs, so I'm probably going to hold on to a little bit of water weight, or I'm going out for a meal, so that's going to affect that. You
yeah.
didn't let it all affect you because it is a mental side of things, isn't it? More than anything.
You have got to be very careful because there was times where like I was getting really low, and then it does become a bit like if I'm not careful here, I am going to feel guilty eating that way. You don't need to. It's just as long
Yeah,
as you know you do sort of track, you know, without being too strict on yourself or too hard on yourself. Then you
yeah,
know you can enjoy certain things, and I think that's
yeah,
fair to do it that way. So yeah, I mean, for me,
yeah.
it was tracking and just sort of keeping an eye on things. So like, if you know for a fact that you're gonna go out for a meal or you're gonna get a takeaway that night, just take it a bit easier in the day, and it just all balances out.
Yeah, and it's having that logical approach to it as well. Like with, I mean, I think me and you having a good communication as well really helped because you would you would be on it and tell me, oh, I'm out this day, Saturday, so don't be like because if I don't know anything and I see the scale jump up, I'm like, well, what have you done? Or
Yeah,
or you just go ghost on me for a few days. It's like, well, what have you done here? But you were just like, no, I'm out this day. Don't worry about it. Like, I'll be back on it on Monday. It's my missus' birthday. It's my whatever it is,
yeah.
and then you just go straight back to it. And it's just when you think of it in a longer term, like now compared to what Jack. When did we start? November,
October,
mate.
November, something like that. Yeah,
It's like a different person. You've got the Matty Cash haircut. You've got like you, you're like what? Do you know what weight you're hopping around at now?
I'll be honest with you, I've not weighed in probably a month or two,
Since
but I think I'd like to say around probably like 76 now, something like that.
so what? So mate, so 20 19 kg from your obvious. But what did you find? So obviously we did 16 weeks, and then we did an extra. Did we do? We did 7 months altogether, didn't we? So
Yeah,
we did seven months. So we did 16 weeks. The initial one, I think we got to 78 kg in that time, and then you were like, "No, I want to get lower." You did
yeah,
another 4 kg, and then we did 2 months of and that month really flew. You really hit a groove then, didn't you? Because you were like,
yeah.
"Right, I'm determined to do it." How did you find the switch to like? Can you like talk about the energy levels that you felt like? Because obviously we were focused on getting stronger, but obviously when you're cutting weight and you're trying to get stronger, there's going to be a level where you're just not going to be able to reach. Like you were like, I can't get past 95 kg bench, and I was like, well, it's your calories. You're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
You're not fueled up enough. We then did 2 months of like. If you call it like a muscle building, but it was more just getting you used to the normal way of eating, wasn't it? Like, and then by the end, I don't think people believe that you went from 2,000 calories. You never dropped under 2,000 because you walk so much as well. You did 2,000 by the last week. Well, last time me and you did it, you were eating what 2,800 calories, and you gained 2 kg back in, which
Yeah.
is absolutely regular. So you learn how to eat a lot. And 2,800 when you've been used to eating 2,000 is a lot of food.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, 2,800 is a lot of food. You know, if you do it right, and like,
Yeah,
I'm not much of like a chocolate eater or anything like that, but like, it sounds almost pretty sad, but I'll like go through my day now of eating like still eating overnight oats, you know, consistently every day. I'm like a Labrador or something. I get I get excited. I get excited for it every morning. Like it's like, mate, you've had this for like the last 9 months. I absolutely love it.
yeah.
But then, like, I have my meat, I have my meat, I have my dinner, then I have my tea, and then I actually get excited because I've got like 500 calories left of something. So then I'll just like have the biggest bowl of bran flakes you've ever seen in your life, just, just to get some carbs up and stuff like
Hey,
that. I'm just like, oh, I'm feeling great, but at the end of the day, I've still hit the calories that I wanted to hit. I've hit the macros, and like consistently now, even though we're not sort of doing what we're doing anymore. I have got into that sort of way of life now where I do track every day still because
that's class, man.
I just love it. I just love to
That
know
is class,
where
mate.
I'm at. And then it's good for yourself because then you get to the evening time and like, oh yeah, I can have a bit of a treat now.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Because
can't-
you've also tracked like I've got 800 calories. I'm gonna have a bit of mincemeat, rice, whatever. I've got 300 calories left. If I have a ice cream, and then that makes it more sustainable. Like you don't have to do anything crazy. Like I can't have bran flakes and stuff in the house just because I'm a cereal fiend. Like I love it. Like I'll overeat it like mad. So I just don't have it in the house. Like it's my treat at Christmas. I'll have crumpets and a bit of cereal. Like
Yeah.
that's my Christmas breakfast. Like, I love it too much. But
Who
when
are
you
we?
say about,
Who are we? Like,
I know, yeah, forget a drink. I'll have cereal and crumpet.
Yeah.
But when you say about the overnight oats, it's really important though because you got into such a good routine of overnight oats every day. It just makes it one. And when you find something that you really like, it makes it one less thing to think about, doesn't it? You
Yes.
don't then have to go, oh, I've got work today. What am I going to have for breakfast? You love the overnight oats. You made it the night before. You put
Yeah.
it in the fridge. It does take 5 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like it literally takes 5 minutes to make. You put it in the fridge, grab it on the go, and then you're out the door.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate that like people lead busy lives and we do have stuff on and one thing I tended to find that really helped myself was obviously doing the breakfast the night before because then I
Yeah,
mean it is quite difficult when you're working and you got to go out for your breakfast to find something healthy. More often than not, it is something unhealthy. It's like bacon butties or like full
yeah.
Englishes and stuff like. It is difficult to find stuff. I personally found where I've been working and stuff like that. So that is something really good to start your day off and get that protein in, early on. So then you're not chasing it for the rest of the day. So like
100%.
when I was doing like overnight oats and stuff like that, and then I'd have like a protein yogurt with it as well, and some fruit. I could be eating like 80 grams of protein just from breakfast, which is great. And then like
Yeah.
again, you're not chasing it all day then.
And if your goal's 180, you've got 100 left to do. You have a shake as a snack, mate. If you have 2 scoops, you got another 50 there. Mate,
Yeah.
you literally have 150 grams of chicken and tuna in the evening, whatever you want. You've hit your goal. I think the number one thing that, and you might have felt this when you first started, when you see the protein goal, you think, because I made everyone do a food diary, don't I? Like I made you do a food diary, make everyone do a food diary. The main thing you probably thought was, how the fuck am I going to get to that protein?
Yeah. Well, you've got to bear in mind as well. I think when we first started, it was probably even higher than that. It was probably near enough like 200 grams of protein. Like, how am I going to do this? Like, I do not know
Yeah.
how to do it. But you
And most
can.
days you were over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it still happens now. Like, you think like, how am I going to do this? But it's just sort of experimenting a bit as well. You've got to do a bit of experimenting with your food and seeing right, if I eat that, I just need to get this much protein in there. If I add this to it as well, that brings the numbers up, and
Yeah.
it is achievable. You can do it. It's just hard to do it and then substitute other things out of it. Like, probably had days before I started where I wasn't hitting my protein goals, but I was
Yeah.
so over on the calories. It was just
Yeah.
insane. Like that, like I said to you, my issue was, when we first started, it's not that I eat bad food; it's the amount of food I eat. Like,
Yeah.
you
Number
know,
one thing I hear.
I was
Number one thing.
eating my own food, then eyeing up my wife's before she's even finished, and then
Yeah, yeah.
my daughter came along and like, oh, you're not going to finish them fish fingers, like I'll have
Yeah, mate. It's the number one thing I hear though. Oh, I eat healthy food, mate. You might eat healthy food, but if you eat 3,000 calories of chicken and veg, and
It
you need
doesn't matter.
2,500,
It doesn't matter. You're still in that surplus, aren't you? So you're always chasing it. So you're going to
So,
eventually put weight on.
mate, I won't keep you too long because I appreciate you doing this. So, are you still doing 5-3-1?
Yes, yeah. Still doing 5-3-1.
So you
So
still doing that training?
yeah, I'm still enjoying it. Still enjoying the 5-3-1. Literally did a 5-3-1 today of squats, and then obviously a couple of other lifts around it. But yeah, I'm
Class.
absolutely loving it.
Mate,
And
I love it.
it does make it a lot more interesting than, say, walking into a gym, not having a routine, and then all you're doing is just probably the same few exercises, 4 sets of 10. The weight's not
Yeah.
increasing, and it becomes very, very tedious, and then you sort of fall out of love with training. Whereas doing the 5-3-1 or, other ones like that, sort of 6-8-10s or whatever, it makes it a lot more interesting, a lot more fun.
Yeah, and
And
that's having something to strive towards every time you go in the gym. Like, I'm going to beat that for 5, I'm going to beat that for 3, and beat that for 1.
yeah, and it does make it so much more interesting. And
Yeah.
it's good. And I've also found as well. Now I'm not using the app anymore. I have bought like a fitness logbook, and it
Good
makes
lad.
such a difference. So then you just look at you can sort of like just go in the gym, write it down, leave, and then when you're next back in, you can have a look. Oh, well, I did that last week for 5 reps. Let's see what I can do for free now, and then it just keeps going on like that, and it's ideal.
Mate, I love to hear it. Like I always say, I always use you as the example. You're the North Star for like commitment, doing all that, and like afterwards, you've done class. My final question, just before we go. So, if like, what was it that actually prompted you to like? Because obviously, most people think, "Oh, I can figure it out on my own. I could do whatever." What actually prompted you to just go? I've had enough. I need to just commit and do it for. Because we only originally signed up for like the 4 months, didn't we? We were like, right, we're going to do it now. So, what actually prompted you to make the plunge?
Well, like I say, I just got to a point where clothes weren't fitting good anymore. I felt a bit uncomfortable about my weight and things like that. And then I think you just popped up on Instagram once, and I started looking through your sort of your feed and everything, and it just looked. What you were posting on there was really informative, but it was also like simple to follow. Like there was nothing overwhelming about it. And then obviously, I spoke to a couple of people who were following you who I know, and they were like strongly recommended you. Like this guy, he knows his stuff. There's
Yep.
no sort of bullshit with it. It's just if you do this, do this, do this, you will see results. And then obviously we started talking, and then you
Yeah.
started telling me to do like the food logs, and then well, actually, eating that, you're doing like X amount of calories over what you should really be eating, and then we started, and it was just my only regret with starting was not starting sooner.
Love it, mate.
Yeah, I told you
Mate,
that from the beginning. Like it was just, I
you
should.
should.
I wish I started 6 months prior, or say before I got married or something like that. But it is what it is. And the main thing is that we started, we did it, and look where we
You're
are
here
now.
now,
We're in such a great
mate.
position.
Mate, I love it, and you know what? Like, I just love to see that you're still doing it. Like, that's the main thing. Like, you've taken everything you did in the 7-8 months that we did, and
Yeah.
you've just kept on going,
Well,
mate. And that's
the thing is, Stan, it wasn't the whole. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but your whole thing, it's not about just a quick crash course. It's a
exactly.
lifestyle change. It's about making small changes that will then build up to something bigger, and then your whole sort of relationship with food, with exercise, with treating yourself will change, and it'll be all in moderation then. And then you can once we get to a maintenance stage, you know, you'll be in a good position, and that's what I feel like it's done for me. Like, tracking calories, like it's not a big deal, And don't get me wrong, I'm not like super strict with it. I'll be like, oh,
Oh, cool.
I've gone over a little bit, but it's all right. I can make it up tomorrow, or like, it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what it's about. It's about a lifestyle change more than it is just like a crash diet or a crash exercise, and then you end up like ballooning back up in weight. It's about keeping a nice level playing field, which I hope to do for the rest of my life now, which I think I can do. It's achievable.
Mate, I love it, mate. You absolutely smashed it. Thanks so much for doing this as well. Last thing, what you reckon for England tomorrow?
Oh mate, well if they're playing like they have been, I'm concerned.
Mate,
Uh,
I think it's 3 at the back. I think it's going to go 3 at the back, innit?
yeah, more than likely. Either way, I'm not
Mate,
looking
it's
forward
depressing.
to
Mate,
it.
it's depressing. I
Mate,
know.
I thought we were done in that last round, and then like
I,
obviously Jude pulled that out of the bag, and then that was it. But it's amazing what happens when you play with attacking players, isn't it? Like I don't know, but
I just don't know why he's not playing Gordon or Palmer. I just don't get it. Like, I don't get Gordon. Like, I just don't understand it. But hopefully, mate. But yeah, thanks so much for doing this. Appreciate it, and it's good to catch up with you as well, mate. If you ever round my end of come get a workout in, we'll do some bench,
yeah,
get some 5-3-1,
sounds good to
give
me.
you a spot. Give you a spot as well, so that you actually you got the confidence.
Exactly, mate. I started thinking I can do it. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't.
Mate, I love it. Thanks so much for doing it, mate. I really appreciate it. And mate,
it's the absolute least I could do. Just again, thanks for everything. It's been a pleasure.
top man, mate. Thanks so much. I'll drop you a WhatsApp after this, but thanks so much.
All right,
Catch you
cheers,
later.
Dan. Take care, mate. Appreciate it.
Bye bye.
Thanks, mate. Bye.